The nervous system. What is the role of the nervous system and how do nervous systems differ? I'm going to skip the My Planet Diary. I think it'd be worth your time to read, but um, I'm going to move on. So, what is the role of the nervous system? You're in a yard studying. Your dog Rugger is lying beside you. Suddenly, Rugger lifts his head and perks his ears. A few seconds later, a car pulls into the driveway. Interactions. Rugger's actions resulted from interactions of his nervous system. A nervous system receives information from the environment and coordinates a response. In this way, it acts like the body's control panel. A nervous system allows animals to detect signals in their environment, process, process the signals, and react to them. A signal that causes an animal to react in some way is called a stimulus. We've talked about this before. This should be nothing new. Touch, sound, and the things animals smell, taste, or see are stimuli. After a nervous system detects a stimulus, it processes the information. For animals like Rugger, this process happens in the brain. Processing information results in a response. A response is an animal's reaction to a stimulus. Rugger's response to hearing the car was to lift his head and perk his ears. Rugger could have also responded by barking or running. Okay, we're going to skip the apply it. Types of cells. Animals often respond to a stimulus in the fractions of a second. If they didn't, they might not eat or they might be eaten. The basic unit of the nervous system, a neuron, enables speedy responses. A neuron is a nerve cell with a unique structure for receiving and passing on information. In a nerve cell, information travels as an electrical message called an impulse. Complex animals have three kinds of neurons that work together to take in information, process it, and enable the animal to respond. Sensory neurons are nerve cells that detect stimuli. Organs such as eyes and ears contain many sensory neurons. Interneurons are nerve cells that pass information between neurons. Motor neurons are nerve cells that carry response information to muscles and other organs. How do nervous systems differ? It's hard to imagine an animal without a nervous system. This is because most familiar animals have complex nervous systems, but sponges don't have a nervous system, and many other animals have very simple ones. The simplest nervous systems are a net-like arrangement of neurons throughout the body. The most complex systems have a nerve cord and a brain. Types of nervous systems. A Cynaridan nervous system consists of neurons arranged like a net, as you can see in Figure 1. This type of nervous system is called a nerve net. Animals with nerve nets have no specialized neurons. Therefore, a stimulus to one neuron sends impulses in all directions. Many animals have organized nervous systems than those of Cynarians. For example, a planarian's nervous system has nerve cords formed from groups of interneurons. Arthropods, mollusks, and vertebrates have nervous systems with brains. A brain is an organized grouping of neurons in the head of an animal with bilateral symmetry. A brain receives information, interprets it, and controls an animal's response. A complex animal with a brain and nerve cord may have billions of neurons. So there you see. A planarian, which is like a worm, basically a flatworm, has two small structures in its head that are formed from groups of interneurons. And there is an example of a cynarian with a net-like nervous system. And there is a mollusk with a brain and a nerve cord. Sense organs. The more complex an animal's nervous system is, the more complex its sense organs are. Sense organs such as ears, eyes, and nose detect stimuli in the form of sound, light, odor, and touch. Many, but not all, sense organs are located in the head. For example, a grasshopper has complex or compound eyes and an antenna on its head. which detects chemicals and touch. It also has membranes on its body and detects vibrations. Animals with many sense organs can process many stimuli at the same time. This is because different areas of the brain respond to different stimuli at the same time. For example, when an animal such as your dog is around food, its brain processes messages about the food's color, smell, taste, and temperature all at the same time. Look at figure 2 to learn about some animal sense organs. Okay, so we're going to move on past figure 2. Talked about here a frog. Well, let's talk about it. While underwater, a platypus uses its bill to detect the movement of other animals. A frog detects vibrations in the air with tympanic membrane. The star-nosed mole uses its snout with fleshy tentacle to sense an object's texture. A shark uses cells in the nasal passages to detect tiny amounts of blood and seawater. Most insects detect some colors and movement with their compound eyes. Okay, that is the end of this reading. I hope you have a good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you are hearing this. Thanks for listening.